all your all the scenes.
Yep, I'm recording.
That's right. Shabadib doom dam driggity gong. Shabang gung gang chung dug dum tum tak tak tum pound dum dum emergency exit. Dong dang dang dum shuk to butter shup do to ba tapum. Pida pat tapan pada pro. Float in tin can. Far above the world. Deba do pump. Deba dum dum. Are we trying all these scenes?
Not yet. I was waiting for the thing. Let's see. Let's do the Brew World.
Here's Brew World. And we're gonna have this glass here, sitting here with the. That's nice.
All right, Brew World's cut. We're gonna do let's do the weapons that were confiscated. Oh wait, those are.
That should be playing with the video of the protest.
Wait, what should be playing with the web?
So did you get that one going? Okay, so it's in the news, right? It's that we're gonna have me in a small window, just like your scene, but it'll have the big scene of that link
Of the video, right?
of the video.
Okay, I didn't have that, but that won't take very long.
All right. Shabadabdoom, shamdrikikigoom.
Our contestant is Carlos. His friends call him Los. Los?
That's right.
I do tend to explode only when by myself.
What's the big deal that
She
she
touched
did
a man's trash can.
that? Bro.
Right now, I'm committing a Schedule 1 felony. Allegedly. It's bullshit.
He's the mole, dude.
He's got the mole in the base of his cock, dude. It's fucking home like a hole, like a hole.
Mom, you are a horrible human being.
She's being
You know what? Why
great.
don't you die from breast cancer or something?
Wow.
No, you take that back.
That's usually, hey, I'm so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. I'm also a Mormon.
But in the event.
On today's show, we travel back to 1967 to get the story of how 10 ballistic missiles went offline during a mysterious sighting of a glowing red UFO. Plus, Bill Nye gets verbally abused when we talk about the Malmstrom Incident. Malmstrom. Plus, Bill Nye gets verbally abused when we talk about the Malmstrom Incident. When we go into the mystic. You might be able to throw in the reverb for Into the Mystic every time I say Into the Mystic. Later, we will see the warzone in Portland during Saturday's protest. But first, we've got the Brew World Order. No, that's not. There you go. 3 minutes. On today's show, we travel back to 1967 to get the story of how 10 ballistic missiles went offline during a mysterious sighting of a glowing red UFO. Plus, we're going to hear Bill Nye get verbally abused when we talk about the Malmstrom Incident, when we go into the mystic. Later, we will see the war zone in Portland during Saturday's protest, but first... Bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum. That's right.
Emergency exit after dark.
You know, we've had a lot of fun here. Just you and me. And the jazz. Come on by every Monday night. 3 to 5. On the Emergency Exit Broadcast Network. But of course, I'm going to pass it over to the boys over at Emergency Exit for the main mothership show. Jazz.
Yes.
Ain't nothing like it. Well, 1 minute.
Ten seconds. Five. You got it?
That's right. This has been your afternoon drive with your boy, Clive. Live on the radio from 3 to 5, 3 to 6. Now we're going to pass it over to our boys over at Emergency Exit. Because I think, although there's never too much jazz, there's always not enough here on the station for me. This was my last day at Emergency Exit Network. Clive, the Jive Man. I think the jazz is dead, don't you?
It's still alive and well.
It's dead in me,
It's dead in you.
and I'm dying.
Oh, too bad.
Let's pass it over to the boys at Emergency Exit. Are we on?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I think Coach already said hello.
Make sure that USB through is not on.
On is depressed or
Press it. That's what happened. Yep.
So it's up.
Yeah. Don't want that on.
All right.
That is not what we want on. Hey guys, welcome to Emergency Exit. That was Clive, the Jive Man. He is quit. I guess he quit the show.
Did he put in his 2 weeks?
Yeah, he just quit on the air like a fucking jerk
Man,
off.
What an asshole.
Who the frig does
It's a
that?
good thing we didn't have any dead air, though. That's, was a good thing. Our
That's
sponsors
right.
would be pretty upset.
Yes, I'm back. I thought maybe you guys would say, "Don't leave, Clive. Don't leave," and you wouldn't leave. Well, actually, we do want you to go, Clive. If you just wanted to why don't you just leave? But I really do like you guys, and I'd like to stay if possible. No, go ahead and leave. Are you sure? You know, there's a lot of things I could do for you out there, like mow your lawn, maybe draw you a bath. We literally do not want any of that, Clive. Just turn around, just go out the door. I can rub your foot. I'll tell you how much you mean to me. Every day and every night. That's creepy, Clive. Just go ahead and go. Brandon, can you just take the guy out there and get the gun? Yeah, we don't need that guy anymore. We need a shotgun.
Just keep a shot.
A shotgun nearby. It's too bad. All right, let's get this show on the road. Turn off that stand burr.
listening to
Check.
Our contestant is Carlos. His friends call him Los. Los?
That's right.
I do tend to explode only when by myself.
What's the big deal that
She
she
touched
did
a man's trash can.
bro?
Right now, I'm committing a Schedule 1 felony. Allegedly. And it's bullshit.
He's the mole, dude. He's got the mole in the base of his cock, dude. It's fucking home like a hole.
Mom, you are a horrible human being.
She's being
You know what? Why
right.
don't you die from breast cancer or something?
Wow.
No, you take that
That's
back.
usually, it's, hey, I'm so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. I'm also a Mormon.
But in the event of an emergency, your regular exit might not be the quickest or safest way out.
This emergency exit is painted on.
There's no way out. There's no way out. We're through.
That's right. Now is the time to open your mind. In our search for the unknown, who knows what we will find? This is Emergency Exit. This is episode 81, and today is July 2nd, 2018. We are broadcasting to you again from our floating tin can far above the world. I am your host, Los. With me, as always, and working hard to stream us live to the world is none other than Brandon, the Hard Hat Mitchell. How are you doing, buddy?
Doing great over here, man. You say working hard. That's
Working hard to stream us live.
yeah, that's
The Hard Hat is working hard for the money.
that's easy to say until you're over here running my stuff. You know what I mean?
It's exactly. It's been another week down. Lots of stuff has happened. What has happened for you in the week? Nothing?
Man, it's been a pretty chill week for me.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of other people would probably tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that when we get into the news.
That's right. Okay. On today's show, we travel back to 1967 to get the story of how 10 ballistic missiles went offline during a mysterious sighting of a glowing red UFO. Plus, Bill Nye gets verbally abused when we talk about the Malmstrom Incident. Plus, that's what we'll be going into the mystic, basically. Into the mystic. Give me some reverb on that. Into the mystic. That's good. Later, we will see the warzone in Portland during Saturday's protest. But first, rah-ba-dum-dum-ba-dum-dum.
It's the Brew World
That's right. Brennan, what are we drinking today? Well, I'll say I'll read it right off the can here. And that can is the can right here
It
too?
is right there. It just popped up. What do
there
you
it
know
is.
about that?
Let's see. It's called Buffalo. Oh, it's made by Buffalo Bayou Brewing Company, and it is the Great White Buffalo, a Belgian-style wit beer. I don't know. I saw H there. Tell us some about this.
Well, as you said, it's the Great White Buffalo made by Buffalo Brewing, and they are based out of Houston, Texas. That's right, Coach. I picked this one just for you. This should be your
Turn yourself up a little
This should
bit
be
there.
your first beer.
There you go.
Since now you are a full-time resident of Texas.
That's right.
Great White Buffalo, the liquid that launched a golden age for wit beers in Houston. And according to their website, they describe it as light, crisp, refreshing, and smooth. Brewed with a sweet and several orange peels and coriander for a spiced citrus taste. Not a crisp citrus finish.
Yes. I
Yeah,
noticed you
spiced
didn't say that.
citrus taste. Perfect for weekend cookouts or anytime the temperature rises above, get this, 84 degrees. Guys, that's cute. 84 degrees.
That is so cute. They think that's hot.
Yeah.
Well, they do get it pretty hot over there too. It's Houston too, right?
Yeah, well, it's humid.
They got a
It's
beach
humid.
though,
I
right?
think it was like 100 and, I mean, if you want to call that a beach.
They've got some water.
Yeah, they got some water.
We got water, too.
By some stuff. Alcohol by volume 5.8.
5.8. That ain't bad.
IBU. You remember what the IBU stands for?
International Bitterness Unit.
And this one scores a 22.
22. That's very low.
Mm-hmm. Tasting notes also.
Get some tasting notes.
Easy drinkable. Easy.
We'll crack it open and pour it into a glass here.
Yeah, there you go. Easily drinkable and straight to the point with a slight citrus note to complement the soft malt backbone. It's brewed with a sweet and several orange peel plus coriander. Oh, look, that looks kind of pretty. Look at that. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Oh wait, wrong thing.
This is in my Adelbert's glass there.
I don't know how they would feel about that.
Well, so they don't give a fuck. You can't just drink all their beer all the time.
It has to be from their glass.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Tell me, let's give it a little bit of a smell and a taste, everybody. So if you're drinking, drink along here. It smells like a Hefeweizen. It is a wheat beer.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good. I'm not a big fan of these. It's that maybe it's the coriander.
Is that what that is?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So that being said, Brandon, what do you think about this beer?
I don't know. It's not. I wouldn't say it's easily drinkable. It seems a little heavy. I might be able to max out at like 3 or 4 of them. I'm gonna give it a 3.3.
3.3.
Yeah.
That's not too shabby.
No, it's respectable.
Coach says that it's hot as balls out here. Yeah, and it would be for you if you're not used to it. And it's getting hot. You came at the right time. So everything else after this heat wave, you'll be good. It'll be good. It gets a little cold. When it does get cold, it'll hit freezing a couple times, right?
Maybe 3 times this season.
Yeah, it went below freezing.
Well, this last one we got some snow.
A little bit of snow.
But actual snow.
Yeah.
Not a little bit of frost.
Well, I'm going to take another sip of this and give you guys a judgment here. I sort of should have grabbed, I have some lemon in my fridge there. We could have dropped some in there. It's the liquid lemon. That stuff's still, it's just as good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just good, right?
Yeah. I mean, you squeeze it from the juice.
You squeeze it from the juice.
Or, you squeeze it from the juice.
All right, yeah. It tastes like any other wheat beer I used to have. It's not as heavy tasting, feeling as any other, like a like a full moon or something, right? It's in that realm of full moon. Something I'd stay away from. If you were me, you'd stay away from this. Stick with the ambers and the IPAs. So that being said, I'm going to give this a cruel 2.3. That's a low one, and that's the brew. What do you think, you guys? Is that harsh or what? Brew?
I mean, that's how you feel.
Well, I feel that way, and that's what I'm going to give it. Brew World Order. Does that make you feel bad because you brought the beer to like, oh, this guy gave it a 2.3? That's a low-ass rated. No,
I mean, that's just below mid-round.
It's the Brew World Order.
All right, let's wipe that away. Get that out of here. Not something I drink normally. Hey, guys. Welcome back. Oh, no, I told myself to stop trying to burp into the mic all the time, so sorry about that if you were offended by it. We're going to talk about the Malmstrom Incident, and it's some crazy alien shit that you guys need to be paying attention for. We're going to tell you guys a little bit about this guy. We're going to tell you about his story. Then we're going to talk about some funny stuff after that. I hope you guys are sticking along with me. So why don't we, you ready to go into the Mystic here?
I'm ready to do it.
Let's hop right into the Mystic. That's right. Yeah, that you got to throw in that reverb more.
I'm going to
more often.
I'm going to.
All right, Brandon. I'm gonna pass this over to Brandon to start doing this. We're gonna talk about the Malmstrom Incident, and should you want me to read it, or do you want to do it?
Let's just
because I got all the stuff at the end, like I said. So
yeah, let's just here. We'll work through it. Then like we've got a clip coming up that we're gonna
got some
play,
clips.
And then we'll just kind of stop it and talk about it as it goes. But
There
yeah,
he is.
I'll jump right into it. A little background information on Malmstrom. Malmstrom. It's one of those weird.
Malm.
I think you just Malmstrom.
Malm.
Air Force Base.
Malm. Right.
Parallelogram. Work it all out. It's based in Great Falls, Montana. It's home to the U.S. Air Force Strategic Air Command missile combat officers and other enlisted personnel. Basically, it's missileers. I like that word, missileers. Assigned to operate, maintain, and protect the Minuteman Intercontinental Ballistic Missile, the ICBMs, the wartime nuclear missiles.
Uh-huh.
They're based out of Malmstrom Air Force Base, and all around the country. There's several sites, but this one happens to have a handful right on site.
What are these? What are intercontinental ballistic missiles?
They are.
What can you tell me they are? Do you know what they are?
I mean, I don't know the specs on them, but
you don't have
they
to tell me the
are,
specs, like, oh, they're like 10 foot tall or something. But
they're a lot bigger than
and you have a picture right there, you guys.
yeah, that's like of the whole silo in there. I mean, so they're big. They're made to travel, into space halfway around the world and come down and
it's like way
and
over
drop
there.
loads.
That picture
on,
over there.
on
It's you can
everybody.
see it's underground. If you guys are watching the pod,
Probably a couple
on the
hundred
video
feet.
cast, you can see that it's under a couple hundred feet with the capsule on one side, and that's where. Well, go ahead.
No, keep going. You're doing a good job.
Well, yeah, the nuclear weapons. They're missiles with a nuclear head on it, is from what I understand.
Yeah, that's it. They're just a big missile that are
And they're
nuclear.
intercontinental, which means that
Anywhere in the world,
they
pretty
can
much.
win the Intercontinental Championship from Mr. Perfect in WWF.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
When they launch, they go straight for his house.
straight for his house.
Yeah.
Okay, he's dead, by the way. Kurt Hennig, rest in
Oh,
peace.
Oh, R.I.P.
Sorry, buddy.
R.I.P. in
Bummer.
peace.
Bummer, man. Bummer.
So basically, there was a strange event that happened on the morning of March 16th, 1967.
A strange incident.
Strange incident.
Tell me more.
A series of ICBM missiles and the silos, along with the appropriate facilities needed to launch these weapons, were brought to an offline status because this was in 67, the Cold War.
They were worried about the Russians getting there.
And so every missile that we had was on a continuous go status, that it just took them punching in the codes and turning those two keys at the same time and hitting launch.
Oh, that's that. And so
Yeah.
they went down.
Yeah, they went into a no-go status, which means, hey, these ain't ready to launch. And
Okay.
this coincided after security personnel reported seeing lights in the sky and later
What?
a craft hovering at the front gate.
Oh no. A craft?
A craft.
Some sort of
And
craft?
I don't know if they could identify it, so you might be able to say it was an unidentifiable. And if they said it was just hovering there and would have to be flying,
Was glowing?
I'm sure it was. I mean, if it had to be, they saw it. So anyway, and this is where we're gonna hear a little interview from Captain Robert Salas. He
Dr. Robert
he was
Salas.
down in the silo. If you're watching the stream, he was way down in the bunker. So he
was
was
in that
only
little
getting
capsule.
reports from topside through his security guards, but he witnessed the missiles going down firsthand. And here we go.
Let's hear it.
Early in the morning, and I received a call from my topside security guard, who's the flight security controller, I think we call him, FSC. And he said that he and some of the guards had been observing some strange lights flying around the site, around the launch control facility. And he said they were acting very unusual, just flying around. And I said, well, you mean UFO? I think I used that word. You mean like UFOs? And he said, well, he said he didn't know what they were, but they were lights. They were flying around, and they weren't airplanes. They weren't making any noise. They were not helicopters, and they were making some very strange maneuvers.
Yeah. So just he was getting reports. There were some strange
Yeah, so he's
lights
down there
and
getting reports. You not be able to turn that up a little more?
that
clip?
coming from me.
No, for the clip there.
I can crank that gain up.
Yeah, crank that gain up a
all
little
right.
bit. Anyways, so what was he talking about there? He was talking about how he was down below in the capsule, as you see in that capsule on the picture.
And he just got a call from his security guards topside, and they're like, hey, we got some strange lights flying around doing some weird stuff up here. Just being a security guard saying, I got to observe and keep an eye out, and this is
Right.
strange. So he's doing his job, and the Captain Robert Salas, is that right?
You can call him Captain Bob.
Captain Bob?
Yeah.
All right, Captain Bob.
Captain Bob.
He just says, well, all right, whatever. Keep an eye on him. He's like, these guys are just fucking with me.
Not one by one. By shutting down, I meant they went into a no-go condition, meaning They could not be launched. As I recall it at the time, it seemed like every one of them shut down. But later, in recalling this incident with my commander, Mywald, he said he thought we only lost about maybe 7 or 8 of these weapons went down. These weapons are Minuteman I missiles. These were, of course, nuclear tipped, nuclear warhead missiles.
Yeah, we were saying
so
that.
they started shutting down, and immediately he gets up, and we both start querying the status board. We've got the ability to query and determine what the cause of the shutdowns were. As I recall, most of them were from power generator. The only connection between the capsule.
All right, so it skipped there, but basically he was just going on to say that when they later checked it out, it was the guidance systems that made it.
Guided systems that made it go out?
That actually failed it and caused the systems to say, hey, these aren't ready for launch, because we wouldn't know where to direct it as far as. So it wasn't the propulsion, it was the guidance. Here is a little more detail when saying more went down.
Well, at our side, there were approximately.
Sorry about that, you guys.
Down. But they went down in rapid succession, which again is a extremely rare.
Yeah, so he's talking. Ooh, what is going on?
You got we're way too hot here. Turn that down there.
Okay.
And then turn down aux when you're not using it. There you go.
So yeah, basically he was saying 6 to 8 of these missiles.
What happened to us?
Just went down. I think.
Sorry about this technical difficulty. Turn yourself up on your mix there. Okay, you're good there.
You're good.
What happened to the sound
I think
there?
it was
degraded a bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I think you just need a new one of these cables or something.
Here, we'll
Isn't
put
that one really worn or something?
No, these are all relatively new.
Oh, are they?
All right.
Everything looks good on mine.
All right, go ahead.
Stream.
And cutting.
Yeah. Well, we lost that. Oh,
sorry.
All right, so here is Captain Bob.
Like I said, the extensive investigation was done. Weather was ruled out. Power surges were ruled out.
Power surges ruled out.
There was only one possibility that was looked at.
It was otherworld.
One of the Boeing engineers that did some tests in a laboratory, and he thought that some kind of an electromagnetic force or field might have caused a signal to go, but it would have had to have gone through these buried cable to each of these missiles.
Yeah, and these missiles are all supported independently from the other one. Like each
Turn
one.
yourself up there. In your check there.
Check.
There you go.
All right. Each one of these missile silos has their own independent power supply. They have their own generators on their own independent system. So for an entire fleet of them to go down, something from the outside has to be affecting them. I mean, that just kind of makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. If the generators will go down and everything, there's no possible way that goes down.
I mean, that to me that
makes sense.
I'm not exactly saying it was exactly aliens, but in order for several systems that are all independent of each other to go down at the same time or in rapid succession, as he says, something is deliberately happening. That's what that says to me.
I agree, and it's sort of scary.
And now, as far as aliens, I'm
so
thinking it was the Russians.
He just got it could have been the Russians, but he just got that call about there's something alien up there. We don't know what it is, what's going on. And he's starting to think that this could be an alien thing. Do you have some more in his clip?
Sort of, yeah. Here comes. So what was really strange is the same night, the same thing happened at another base.
The same thing
not far
happened?
away, yeah.
Hovering not the launch control facility, but the actual launch facilities. where the missiles are actually located.
The actual silos.
They had some maintenance and security people out there at the time, and they were observed. The UFOs were observed by these people out at those sites. Now they lost all 10 of their weapons. So that morning we lost.
They lost all
anywhere
10.
from, 16 to 18 ICBMs.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
missiles were down
Those missiles
the
were
entire
down.
day because we've got testimony from Colonel Don Crawford, who relieved the crew at Echo Flight. And
Echo Flight was that other base. But yeah, if it took them a whole day to get their missiles back up, just I'm sure following protocols and checks and inspections, probably took the same amount of time at this other site. So you're talking 24 hours where we were short, 16 to 18 nuclear weapons.
Yeah, and do you know how long it takes to get them back up?
Well, he said it took about 24 hours to get them back up.
Day, big deal.
Yeah,
Just,
well,
I mean, stand and make sure everyone stands outside.
Yeah, but think about it. If let's say the
Keep your eyes
Russians
up.
knew that hey, their weapons are down for the next 24 hours, now's the time to strike. I mean, so
If they only knew, yeah.
if they only knew, and
So
then
you got to keep it cool. Don't reveal that you have nothing. It's like when you're wanting to lie to your mom or something.
I got one more, and this was really weird. When he got done for the day and was relieved of his duties, he went back to talk to the base commander, and there was this individual there.
An individual.
An individual.
commander was a fellow from AFOSI.
AFSOI, Air Force Office of Special Investigations.
Special Investigations Officer. Okay.
Some people might even say the Men in Black.
Oh, shit.
OSI, Air Force Office of Special Investigation on the base. He was there in the office with the commander. They asked for my logs.
Where's your log?
He wanted a quick briefing, although it seemed to me he knew pretty much what had happened already. But we gave him a quick briefing, and then he asked us both to sign a non-disclosure agreement, saying this was classified information. We would
He
not
broke
to
that,
release
didn't
this
he?
to anybody. And that was it. And we couldn't talk. He told us we could not talk about this to anyone, including any of the other crews, our spouses, our family, even amongst each other. So we could not discuss this at all.
Very scary stuff. Well, it's not scary. You're just not supposed to talk about that kind of stuff.
It's like Fight Club.
You don't talk about aliens in Alien Club. The first and second rule.
Yeah.
So what happened there? There has to have been some sort of investigation that happened.
There was a little bit of an investigation,
Yeah.
and actually an in-depth post-event
a little one.
investigation.
No,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
no little investigation. That's in depth.
Yeah.
That
Well,
means in deep.
it was Boeing, the Boeing company, that makes the
Boeing.
airplanes,
Uh-huh.
based out of Seattle, is who conducted the investigation and basically declassified strategic missile wing documents and interviews with ex-Boeing engineers who conducted the tests following the E-flight incident. Investigation confirmed that no cause for the missile shutdowns was ever found. Robert Kaminsky was the Boeing company engineer team lead for of the investigation. There were no there were no significant failures, engineering data, or findings that would explain how 10 missiles were knocked off alert, and there was no technical explanation that could explain the threat.
There's no significant failure, engineering data, or findings that would explain how 10 missiles were knocked off alert.
Now, there was one person, another employee at the Boeing company, another engineer, was fucking engineers, man, that was able
Goddamn
to
engineers.
somewhat reproduce the problem. And basically, he would take a 10-volt pulse of electricity and put it onto a data line that was, running to the silo. And he was able to repeat the missile shutdown 80% of the time. But that is only when the 10 volts was applied directly at the logic coupler.
Oh, logic coupler.
Yeah, you know what that is, right?
Oh, of course.
That's the thing that's right before the electricity hits the light.
Yeah. okay.
Yeah,
That's
that
where you connect your logic.
Yeah, exactly. And when somebody doesn't have any logic, you're like, what's wrong with your coupler over there?
What the hell's your coupler doing
Yeah.
over there? Okay.
Yes, but
So-
other than that, that was as close as they were able to replicate it. Lightning
it.
and other like commercial power spikes were not able to
I don't
reproduce
see no
it.
lightning there. There was no lightning.
I would have known lightning.
I would have told you there'd be lightning. No, but the immigrant boy out there told me he saw some UFO. And it was glowing red.
One conclusion was that the only way a pulse or noise could be sent from the outside through the whole shielded system was an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse.
Which, of course, aliens have that technology, and they are willing to use it whenever they want.
And so do the Russians.
Perhaps the aliens, they sense the nuclear device. Whatever it is, they sense whatever's used, the chemical used in it.
Uranium.
Okay, uranium. And they sense it, so they know where to go. And they were like, they can send a pulse, boom, 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 and it sends everything off course. And then they see everyone freaking out. They're like, okay, we're out.
Well, what if they knew a little more? Like, what if they knew because it was the Cold War, 1967. Like, what if they knew we were on the verge of killing ourselves, and they wanted to show, hey, like, don't do this, and that was just a demonstration of like their power, because maybe they think that.
You think this was a thing from the aliens trying to say, don't fuck with us?
No, it's saying like don't fuck yourselves up, because I'm sure they don't want us to destroy this planet.
So they were like, okay, we're gonna show you guys, give you guys a little thing to have to figure out.
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably what they were trying
Playing
to do.
God, the alien gods. My goodness.
The evidence, the evidence kind of shows that aliens probably are gods.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
What else? That's it for the investigation?
Yeah, that's pretty much it for the investigation. It just kind of dead ended there. And of course, the documents, there's not a whole lot to be found on it, because they tend to throw stuff out like that out, or just not even, a lot of the commanding posts won't even like accept a report on strange flying lights and things of the sort.
They don't give a fuck.
So, well, no, that gives them coverage to be like, oh, we don't know anything about this because we don't have any documentation on it. So if somebody tries to submit some sort of report saying that, they just toss it.
Okay.
It's plausible deniability.
Well, I'm sure Captain Bob doesn't like those answers.
Well, no.
He wants it to be an alien very much.
Yeah. I don't know if he wants it to be. I think he was there, he experienced it, and knew those systems, because he was a launch controller. You have to have thorough knowledge of the systems.
Well, he knows that it went down after hearing an alien thing.
Sure, but he knew there was, and he can't officially say, yes, there were lights, because they were just coming from reports topside, but put yourself in his shoes. Be like, well, hang on, are these two things related?
You've got to very much could be. I mean, we don't know that. There's been some media coverage on this guy. Captain Salas was told to say nothing about the incident, but which was deemed highly classified. As instructed, he told no one other than his commanding officer about his experience at Malmstrom. Upon leaving the Air Force in 1971, Salas worked as a safety and reliability engineer. So he turned into one of those engineers there that you hate there.
Yep.
For Martin Marietta Aerospace and Rockwell International on space shuttle design proposals. So yeah, he was a pretty, not classified, but a pretty specialized thing there. Space shuttle design proposals. So you just come up with designs on spaceships.
Yeah.
And you present them. So from 1974 until his retirement in 1995, he worked for Federal Aviation Administration as an aircraft structure certification engineer. This guy's got quite a
He's got quite the resume.
A resume, yeah. Returning to school for a teaching certificate. He has worked since 1998 as a mathematics teacher, his current occupation. So he's this math teacher that probably some kids really hate. And if they only knew what this guy is.
He's teaching in the inner city, trying to educate
How can
the
I
youth.
reach these kids?
You got to do the finger trick. You're the finger man.
The finger man. Salas decided to go public about the Malmstrom Incident in 1994. In 2005, he published the book Fated Giant with co-author James Klotz. And if you can get that picture up right over there. Over there.
Which one?
This one right here.
That one. I had that one up earlier.
Well, either way. So September. So he came out came out of the closet in 1994. He decided to go public. I don't know if he actually told anybody. He probably told some friends and some obviously told James Klotz here, who for the next 9 years they helped each other write the book, The Fated Giant. And so Captain Solace on this was September 27, 2010, Salas co-sponsored a press conference at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C., where he and 6 other ex-military witnesses testified to the reality of the UFO incidents at U.S. nuclear weapons bases. So I'm going to play a clip here, you guys. That's got that, so you can go ahead and start putting up put up that press conference video there. I'm just going to play this here.
At least take a look at those, research this a little bit, and if you do, I think you'll come to the same conclusions that we have. That is that the UFO phenomenon is real, not imaginary. There's current excessive secrecy in our government surrounding this phenomenon. Unknown aerial objects have, in fact, been observed over many of our nuclear weapons bases and other nuclear facilities, and in some cases, the appearance of these objects coincided with compromising the operational readiness of our nuclear weapons. Although each of us might have different opinions about the meaning and intent of these incidents, I think we can all agree that the tampering with nuclear weapons is a national security concern.
That's right. And, there's something that can be grabbed from that, It's just like the climate change, what he said there about, people's thoughts about climate change. Whether or not you believe in climate change, we should be concerned. Same thing with these nuclears being tampered with, these nuclear weapons, something we should be concerned with there. And so that was from the meeting he had, the press meeting on 2010. Here's a quote that's pretty good. And he said, "There's excessive secrecy in government, and nobody likes excessive secrecy because that obviously leads to abuses. And that is the political connection to the UFO phenomenon." So I guess that's how he connects politicals to political phenomenon. That's just how he connects everything together, essentially. So what is the Air Force's policy on UFO? Well, first of all, I didn't even play. What is the... Do you have Robert Salas here in that press conference? Do you have him?
No, I had the wrong one queued
That's
up.
okay. So we'll just play. This is one of the last things he said before he left off, and this is the Air Force's policy on UFOs. And go.
This is Air Force official policy on UFOs. This is dated 2005, but I believe it is current policy. I'll just read one part of it. It says, "No UFO reported, investigated, and evaluated by the Air Force was ever an indication of threat to our national security. That is clearly misleading. It is false based on our testimonies."
How about that?
It's an awfully convenient answer.
Yeah. Well, they just said, "Don't worry about it." Okay.
It's not a big deal. It happened, but don't
So
worry.
here's it once again. The Air Force's policy on UFOs. Don't worry about it. That's it. Don't worry about it. All right. We got this. So we can go over so many different videos and clips of this old man. You can get that Larry King one up there, but it's just always the same story, more or less. Okay, I was working in a capsule down there, and all of a sudden I got a phone call from a guy up there, and he said, "Hey, there's aliens up here." And he says, like, "Oh shit, there's aliens." And he thought nothing of it. They're just fucking around. And then all of a sudden, all the fucking missiles go out, and it's all the same fucking story over and over and over. But then I found some really good video and it's the only thing that I found that was worth pulling clips of, and it was of UFO investigator Bill Hastings, former USAF Captain Bob Salas, that's Captain Bob, of course, former Air Force official Bill Jameson, and Dr. Bob Jenkins, former First Lieutenant of the U.S. Air Force. I was going to say Army Force of Air Force on the Larry King Show. Imagine having that moniker, former First Lieutenant, U.S. Air Force. Former First Lieutenant, U.S. Air Force. They don't deny any interaction. They said it had no impact on national security. They didn't deny the interaction. They just had no impact on national security. Well, there's Ryan talking about this a little bit more. I wanted to get into these clips here. So they all get on the Larry King Show, Bill, and Bob, or Bill and Bob. I think there's 2 Bills and 2 Bobs. He goes on the Larry King Show, and they go to tell Bill Nye, the science guy, who comes on and who's also skeptical about this, about Captain Bob's claims. So after hearing the captain's claim, Larry King asked the science guy what he thought about it. Let's listen to that.
What's your thought?
Well, in the skeptical world, in science, we look at claims. We look at individual claims. So I noticed that we looked at the intro of your show and stuff that there's several UFO incidents all mixed together.
By the way, Bill Nye is very credible. He's a scientist. He's an educator of science. He can be full of shit sometimes, but I used to love him, but he's kind of full of shit nowadays. Carry on, Bill.
But let's talk about the one in 1967, right? This is your problem at Malmstrom Air Force in Montana. So the nuclear missiles went down, right? So if you go look at the documents that these guys have offered, if I understand it, as evidence, you look at some, and you don't have to read it, but you see there's something blacked out.
What's your
scary?
point?
Well, it looks spooky and scary. But it turns out that day, or the day before, the power had gone out in some of the chiller units, the air conditioning. Okay.
So the man who called him and said he saw something outside, he didn't see something.
Let me just say, when you see something, a lot of people see something. And a lot of people see things that are really they can't identify, but that doesn't mean it's quite a leap.
So you're saying it's a coincidence. This guy thought he saw something, and the missiles go
and
off.
then you talk to people who are there, and it's very compelling. And these documents, just while you address this,
let him respond.
Well, when you respond, address that one of the officers suspected that somebody had been drinking.
So he's like,
on the job.
Somebody was drinking. What do you got to say about that? And then Robert Solis, he comes in. Captain Bob delivered with a very possible answer to Bill's theory. Oh, well, there's all this backup generation bullshit. We've got batteries. We've got the town electricity. We've got this and that. There's no way that shit is just going to go down. And Bill also cited, well, there was a power outage that was reported just a day before or something, and he just kept going on, Bill just kept going on, thinking that these gents were being disingenuous. So, and it seems like Bill Nye was irritating the expert panel. He was really getting irritating to them. Bill would counter argue, and all the experts would talk at once to disprove the science guy. Larry had to get his control back. It was getting out of control. People were talking over each other. Larry then hands the conversation over to a rather hostile Bob Jenkins, who proceeds to give Bill Nye a piece.
In the interest of time, Dr. Jacobs, he takes pictures, he comes back, they call him in.
That's what we're seeing
right
here.
The pictures
I saw it. I'm an eyewitness.
He saw it.
I'm not talking about
and they confiscate it.
Yeah.
Why?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Hello?
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
You mind if I speak, Mr. Comedian?
Go ahead.
I was there.
Look at Bill Nye's face.
I saw the film with my own eyes.
Just like,
I'm not lying.
Who the fuck is this guy?
I'm a university professor with a PhD and a lot of years of good, respectful research. So the guys from Malmstrom may not have seen the UFO, but they saw the results of it. I saw the damn thing on film with my own eyes, so don't call me a liar, and you weren't there. I was.
With all due respect, I'm not calling you a liar. It's just quite a step to say there was a film with remarkable images on it that the CIA confiscated.
Which I saw and which they did.
Yeah, which is quite a step from there to say it was definitely a spacecraft from another civilization. That's the leap that the skeptical community is reluctant to take.
Hey, pal, listen to me.
Pal.
It's like, hey, pal.
Yeah. Hey, if somebody calls you pal
Didn't
in
say
like
it was a
conversation,
spaceship.
it's not friendly.
Yeah, he did not. He was not very friendly about that whole thing. Let's hear that again.
He is reluctant to take.
Hey, pal, listen to me. I didn't say it was a spaceship from another civilization. I said it was something in the air that we couldn't
Civilization.
identify. Therefore, it was an unidentified flying object.
Okay.
It was
Am I wrong?
He was getting heated up there a bit, and of course that was a photographer. He's a PhD. He's also who did I say? He's the former first lieutenant of the U.S. Air Force, and he took pictures of some sort of flying object, and that footage was confiscated by the government, by the man, and that was not cool, man. And so that's why he's so bad. Tom DeLonge, and he's talking about Tom DeLonge. We're not going to talk about Tom DeLonge today. But Bill Nye, the Giant guy, he really tries to reason with these four gentlemen. He tries to conduct a thought experiment. Let's listen to it.
shaped like two saucers put together with a golf ball on top, and it fired a beam that we assumed was a plasma beam at a dummy warhead and knocked it out of space. Tell me what happened. Tell me who did that. Tell me in 1964 who had that technology, pal. Not us, and not the Russians, and nobody I know of.
Nobody of that guy
So
knows
what's your
of. None of my
conclusion?
friends have it.
Well, so what's your conclusion?
Yeah, I don't know anybody that's got it. My dog
So
doesn't
it
have
doesn't
it.
exist.
Yeah, my dog doesn't have one. I tried to look my cat. He's a shifty motherfucker, always staring at the window, but he doesn't have any. I don't know anybody.
What's your conclusion?
What are you saying? Well, my conclusion is that something happened.
Ah.
We don't know what it was.
Skype.
And I wouldn't be surprised if it had something to do with another aspect of military testing in the sky that night. And it's a much more reasonable explanation.
We had
than-
nothing. There was
Okay.
nothing in our inventory that could
So
possibly
let's do this other little thought experiment, everybody. Okay, let's say this has been going on since 1967, routinely, right? There's an old joke in broadcasting.
Are you going to do this with baking soda and vinegar, Bill?
Hold on. We're running out of time.
It's an old joke in broadcasting. Well, it's like trying to photograph a car wreck.
Oh, well, he gave it to him, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're not
he
going to listen to
did.
the rest of what Bill Nye says, but how about that? That is super good. And you see Bill Nye's face get so fucking angry about it. Let's see if I can play it again
It's
here.
been going on since 1967, routinely, right? There's an old joke in broadcasting.
Are you going to do this with baking soda and vinegar, Bill?
Hold on. We're running out of time.
It's an old joke in broadcasting.
And
well, it's like trying to photograph a car wreck.
Bill Nye couldn't really say anything. He doesn't have a PhD. He's just
He's only got a bachelor's, I believe, in like engineering. Or
and all these guys are totally badass Air Force guys, retired, and we got one guy's a former first lieutenant.
No, but then again, think about it though. He may not have the knowledge, but he's the one questioning them, challenging them, trying so that they don't get too far away into it.
Oh,
like
sure.
He's playing the scientific card.
Sure, and then you obviously heard what happens when you try to play the science guy card there.
Yeah.
Do this with baking soda and vinegar, Bill?
Hold on. We're running out of time.
It's an old joke in broadcasting. Well, it's like trying
I'll
to
cut that
photograph
for the
a car
soundboard.
wreck.
I should have already.
Well,
Yeah. Anyways, so that's what happens when you try to reason with these UFO people. Sometimes they're a little anxious and they're a little angry, just like arguing with the left. Sometimes you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm just kidding. In this last clip, Larry
sure
King.
the same thing goes for the arguing with somebody on the right.
Sure, absolutely. In this last clip, Larry King opens the floor to a debate on UFOs. Captain Bob was not present for this hour of Larry King's program, and first up is a prominent UFO researcher who wanted to address the bravery of Bill Nye, the science guy.
Planets. Well, I admire Bill's courage. I can't imagine a well-trained scientist who's expert at communicating science to the general masses of people, who has courage enough to go on a national, international television program to talk about something which he hasn't researched, something which he knows nothing about, and pretend he's being a scientist about it. Frankly, I'm sick and tired of the debunkers
That took a harsh
making
left
their
turn.
research be proclamations. I mean, Bill showed a document with, names redacted. How about this is a CIA document? It took me 5 years to get about UFOs, not just names redacted.
Yeah, a little context there. That's the last clip that Bill Nye was talking about. Oh, look at these. These are the papers that they're talking about. Look at that. It's redacted. It just looks scary. And that's when Larry King was like, what's the point? And we played that.
Just let it out. Let it out.
Anyways, how about that clip? It's like, Brandon, I want to thank Brandon coming up here, man. He's a great guy. Too bad that he shits his pants all the time. It's a backhanded compliment and says he has absolutely nothing. He knows nothing. I'd like to thank Brandon for coming out to this podcast meeting. He did such a great job, and he absolutely knows nothing about podcasting. He's a shitty person, and we should all be. We all feel stupider when he's around. No, I'm just not saying this about.
You said something pretty similar to what was it, 26, 27, my first one, Bluebeam.
Okay.
You said something pretty similar at the end.
I did.
I don't know. Improv, man. Improv.
I did. I mean, I did. Anyways, that was
may have been Jeff from Texas.
So let's talk about some questions then. So now that we know the story and we've listened to him on Larry King and listened to Bill Nye get a tongue lashing, is Captain Solace's, Captain Bob's story believable, Mr. Hardhat?
Is it believable?
People out there?
I mean,
is it believable that, he's saying that as a missile control launcher that all the missiles went down, and he believes it's due to the report of the UFO just minutes before that they all happened.
Mm-hmm.
So do you believe that?
Do I believe that actually happened?
Do you believe? Well,
I believe that the missiles went down.
We do. Well, that's actually fact that happened.
Okay.
There's no doubt about that.
Now, as far as the lights, are they connected? They might be. I don't know. I wasn't there. He never actually saw these lights. They're just coming from a report. I mean, for all we know, it could have been the security guards be like, hey, you want to fuck with these people tonight?
You want to do something?
Yeah.
Fuck with these white kids? Fuck with them. So is he lying? He actually never saw anything except the missiles going offline.
I don't think he's lying. I think he's
believed,
twisted it. Yeah, he's to him that explanation makes sense.
And a lot of people want to say that this is a hoax. At least the claims that he has that they're aliens, not the fact that the missiles went offline, but the claim that they're aliens caused it.
Well, there's no proof of that. So then, that is. I mean, you can't.
And
base that argument.
So I looked up some stuff here. I found a document that claims that this is a hoax, and it's called the Echo Flight UFO Incident, March 16th, 1967. The Echo Flight Incident UFO hoax was discovered only when an attempt to confirm the claims of the alleged witnesses were undertaken. All the confirmatory witnesses named by Salas, Klotz, and Hastings insist that the claims were false. In other words, everyone that those three guys brought up did not collaborate the story back. They were lying or said, I've never heard that before. They just weren't going at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They insist that there was no UFO sighted, reported, or investigated, and that the actual cause of the missile failures was well established as an electrical malfunction by those charged to investigate the incident. That's weird to say. The missile failures was well established as an electrical malfunction by those charged to. Okay, they're just saying, those investigated the incident, established it as an electrical malfunction, like you said, with the logic board. And if it was able to happen there, they were okay. There's something that happened. That's the only way it happened. Something happened. That happened. The fact that no attempts to confirm the UFO aspect of the claims were undertaken by anybody for the first 15 years that the hoax was perpetrated, even though the UFO aspect of the claims was only inserted into the case 30 years after the fact. There were no eyewitnesses. There was no documented report of a UFO, and there was no investigation undertaken of a UFO as required by active military directives at the time, supports the connotation of skeptics that UFO proponents are far less inclined to test or otherwise confirm UFO claims than those assessing claims established in regard to other, perhaps more scientific fields of study. Woo!
That's a lot of words you said there.
Could this be a cover-up?
It could be.
I mean, if it is, so why hide it? Why hide that? If maybe they do want to hide the fact that the missiles go down every once in a while. That's an act of national security, right?
Sure.
We don't want them to. We don't want you to know when they're down, because then you can bomb us or you can take them or some shit. So we don't want that to happen. And if that's the reason to hide it, That's a big reason why to hide it. But as aliens, no one. I don't think aliens ever perpetrated that at all. What do you think, Brandon?
Oh.
Who do you think I'm talking to? Do you think I'm just talking to the people out there?
I thought you were talking to the listeners.
What do you think out there, listeners?
Yeah,
It's a good
they're
idea.
gonna
What do you
get
think?
on
What do you think,
email.
Hard Hat?
It's definitely a very interesting story, but like I said, he never actually witnessed anything firsthand. He just saw the results, and I'm just quote unquote results of, if they
The
were
missiles.
aliens, he only saw them going down. So he,
Right.
But it's a very interesting story. Like, I mean, that kind of freaked me the fuck out.
And now he's lived the rest of it. Well, and another thing is that it took him till 1994 to
Well, I think
come out and
the
say something.
confidentiality thing you signed, I think it's for 30 years.
Oh, okay. Well, then he was able to say, "Okay, this might be like alien shit, and like I always knew, but now I can make money, and hey, let's sell a book." And they all sell a fucking book, because Andy Blanton would say, "I bet you that guy's selling a book," and he is selling a book.
Is he? What's
Yeah.
the name of it? I mean, of course. Like, why wouldn't you?
I can tell you what the name of the book is. It's called The Faded Giant. Faded Giant, which he co-wrote with James Klotz. Okay, in 2005 he published it. So 9 years
wonder if
after
there's any relation to
he
Roger.
decided to go public with it, all that shit. All right, that was Into the Mystic, you guys. What do you guys think about that? What do you think, Brandon? We went deep down into that one, found some fun stuff, and I'll pull some clips.
You're
there.
coming across like a complete twat.
Oh shit! Okay.
We can call it Uranus.
Wow. Can't believe I got called a twat. All right. Well, we just have a little bit more left to do in this show. So are you ready to do this? Let's do some of the news. We got the news with Nick and Los. Actually, just Brandon and Los.
Coming at you, coming with the light. We got the news, we've got the news. We've got the news, we've got the news, yeah. We've got the news with Nick and Los.
That's right. Oh my God. What was going on last weekend? We're talking about Saturday, I think it was like the 1st or something. What is today? The 3rd? Yeah, okay, so it was the 30th that this happened. We're talking about it happened in Portland and probably countless other places, but Portland is the one I really want to show here. So why don't you go ahead and get that video up there for me, my man? And we got the video up here. Basically, the police declared a riot after far-right and Antifa groups clashed in Portland. Well, far-right and Antifa groups. Okay, so it wasn't just regular people that believe in this and that. They're the far-right. I don't know what far-right is defined these days. I think anyone that's just of the left is considered far-right. But this comes from NPR.com. And what began in downtown Portland Saturday as a permitted march by the far-right group Patriot Prayer. So who is Patriot Prayer? Are we getting some video up there?
Yeah. Yep.
And can you make it full screen and turn her up a bit? Yeah, turn up that auxiliary up there while you're at it, or wherever the sound comes from.
Oh, I didn't know I was playing sound through it.
Yeah, I want to have some sound of this as well. And if you can full screen it, that'd be great. Because basically, you're going to see here all the people in black hoods. You see all the black hoods there. Oh, now you hear the guns of the PO shooting at what looks like Antifa there, shooting their pepper spray guns or whatnot there. Sounds like they got automatic pepper spray guns, don't they? Right.
Yeah.
So, and on their opposition, what you see there is the Patriot Prayer group, and they're a right-wing group based in the Portland, Oregon area. Patriot Prayer has organized pro-Trump rallies and other protests in predominantly liberal areas, in which has been met with large numbers of counter-protesters, of course. White nationalists have attended some of the rallies organized by Patriot Prayer, sparking some controversy. In August 2017, in the wake of the Unite the Right rally, Joey Gibson, the founder of Patriot Prayer, denounced racism and denied that Patriot Prayer is connected to the alt-right. So Patriot Prayer is not all right and not far right. They are people that are advocating in favor of free speech and opposing big government. We both love that, don't we?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Sounds great. And yet they're met with these crazy ass people. You can skip forward, like go to halfway through it or so. And you're going to see just how crazy it is that these people just want to have their rally, and they're met with these people donning black masks, shooting shit at them like pepper spray. And then you get these brave ass women there that shouldn't be there fighting these crazy men on both sides. If you're out there fighting, there's some Proud Boys out there, and there's a line of cops there. This is a crazy one. I think you're going to hear a lot of like booms and shit because they get pretty gnarly. Is it up all the way on the video? Maybe the video's not turned up.
I got it.
Okay. And look, you have one side. Okay, they got the flag of the Jolly Roger, not the Jolly Roger, whatever. The good what is the name of the flag for England?
They have England? Yeah, it's the Jolly Roger's pirate.
Yeah.
Damn,
whatever they call it, man. The good flag. And that's for Tommy Robinson because they're for freedom of speech. And Tommy Robinson, which I think we should do a show about Tommy Robinson. Can you not make that full screen? Just like click on the full screen on the video.
Yeah, but.
Anyways, this is
No, because it captures the window.
Okay, so put it back, I guess.
Yeah.
Scam some more till we get some more action there. So look, they've blocked off the street. I think this is gonna come. It's coming up with some more.
Is that it?
Yep. Turn it up. Yeah. Keep that up. Yeah. So the cops are now warning them. This is now because they've seen enough. They've seen both sides fighting at it. You have the Proud Boys, which the Proud Boys are like a Gavin McInnes kind of offshoot thing, and they're a lot of people want to say they're Nazis, but they're Proud Boys. They're Western chauvinists, and they're just proud of being white people in a time where it's not okay to be white. And I get what they're saying. And Gavin McInnes says it's time to go back and fight these guys, the people that oppose them. Because why are they fighting them? The Antifa is out there because they're Antifa, right? They're anti-fascist. They fight anti-fascists. But then when you go to these rallies, and can you throw up that picture of all the weapons that were confiscated there, Brandon? You could turn down the video just a little bit. Because it's about to go down, and we'll turn it down. We'll turn it up a bit. And they're like, yep, let's do it. They're about to turn this shit up. And there's a big fight happening right there. Oh, my goodness. At least that guy in the checkers wasn't... he's Antifa, but he's not with a mask. He's actually fighting without a mask.
Damn.
Oh, that guy got his ass knocked the fuck out. Watch this guy. Kia! He knocked his ass. That's a Proud Boy right there, knocked his ass out. Did you see that? Oh my God, that was so sweet. And then mayhem's happening. This is on the streets of Portland on Saturday.
So the Proud Boys. Go over what they are again.
Okay, Proud Boys, and this is by you can go ahead and pause that video, or you can put it back up to me here. You can keep the. Yeah, that's fine. The Proud Boys are Western chauvinists. Now, chauvinist just means that you are traditionalist.
Chauvinist means you're traditionalist?
If you look at the actual meaning of it.
Come on, man. We're not going to get into the traditional meaning of this word. Like, get with the times. Come on. You know damn well what chauvinist means to people
fine.
nowadays.
They are nationalists.
You know that they're asking for
They
it.
are nationalists, and nationalists, that means that they are proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, okay? And I'm never going to forget the men who died who gave that right to me, and I proudly stand up, all right?
For the men who died.
That's right.
And women.
And that's what they are. They are patriots. And I get this like fight against the right and left, and I'm done trying to like fight too much about it. But what the left needs to realize is the right is full of what you and me would call patriots. People that love their country. And they want to try to put on this thing that there are Nazis, white supremacists out there. They're not out there. They are They're not out there. There's probably a couple, some out there, like the stupid KKK, whatever. They're idiots. They're hicks. You can't get rid of them all. And if you want to get rid of them all, you're a Nazi yourself, because there are going to be people that oppose everything. And those are those people. The Westboro Baptist Church, those guys hate fags. I get it. They hate fags. Big fucking whoop that they hate them. They let them hate. Let them hate. We can do our other thing and become a civilized society. But this is what's going on in the streets of Portland. And all those knives and everything, those was confiscated by the cops before the rally. And yet there were still lots of things that were being thrown out. Fireworks. The people were throwing fireworks into the crowds. And we're not talking little baby fireworks. We're talking about like mortars getting thrown into a fucking crowd of people fighting. It's absolute mayhem out there. And I want us to try to get together and stop fighting about stuff. For Christ's sake, one side from Antifa, they think that this side or my side, the right side, and it's not that I'm saying it's the right or wrong side, it's like literally left or right, that everyone there is a Nazi. But what we want is freedom. We don't want our freedom of speech to be taken. Our freedom of our Second or First Amendments they're at war. People are trying to take away and regulate more things when things are just fine. And what we need to do is focus on other things like the mental health issue. That's the only thing that's changed. And like my grandpa, my dad would have been able to go to school with a gun, I said it in the first Los Peaks, where there were kids that grew up with a pocket knife, and that was their pencil sharpener. There weren't any stabbings back then, and everyone had a fucking knife. We're going so far backwards. We're gonna regulate ourselves to nothingness, and everyone's gonna be sorry about it. And I don't want to be part of that. I'm gonna be
Well, that does surprise me, because you said that your grandpa walked around, with a knife that was their pencil sharpener.
Yeah, it wasn't even a knife. It was a pencil sharpener.
By surprise fact out there, guys. We don't podcast for a living. This is something we do on the side. We got day jobs.
I'm sure they know.
Right?
The show's terrible.
I work with my hands. I use tools. One of my common tools is a flip-out razor knife. And I'm just... It kind of concerns me, because now there are extremists out there that they would see that and they're like, oh shit, he's got a knife. And it's like, come on, get the...
Well, think about what it takes to go flying these days, because one fucking crazy whack job put a bomb in his shoe. You got to take off your shoes in an airport. Is that necessary anymore?
I think it's excessive.
It's excessive, and it's getting shitty. I mean, sure, we should have some safety, seatbelts in cars, but you don't need to make people wear them, click it or ticket, Well, we're just doing this to save your ass.
Well, because when you're alive, you are paying taxes, and if you're not alive, they're missing out on that revenue.
Well, there's that.
That's exactly what it is. Because I'm with you on that. It's like seatbelts. Like, I'm not against, they save lives, but why is it a regulation? Like, it should be the person's choice if they want to be that stupid and not wear one. But of course, overregulation.
I was watching this Piers Morgan thing on the gun debate, and he goes to a gun range. And he shoots this fucking sit-down fucking turret-style gun. And the guy was like, he shot it. He's like, it shot fucking 900 rounds a minute, some shit like that. And he was like, why would anybody want this fucking thing? And he's like, well, yeah, no one wants to shoot it because it costs a lot to shoot it.
900 rounds a minute?
It's a lot of fucking rounds to shoot.
I mean,
and
50
he goes, well, it's an investment thing. It cost me $12,000 to buy it, and now I'm selling it for $50,000. And there's that. It's just something that would appreciate in value. But you would need some sort of license to buy it, the restrictions. But guess what? No one's going to... If you restricted, like I said this in one of our episodes with Nick when I was fighting about gun debates, so I want everything to be unregulated. So you want everyone to be able to have a fucking machine gun. It's like, do you think that people are going to be able to afford a machine gun? I went out there to try to buy a fucking handgun. Those things are expensive as fuck. What about fucking the mass murder gun? And criminals will be able to afford whatever, because if criminals don't follow any laws... So there's no need to have silly laws to prevent respectable people from owning these things. Because if they're allowed to, if they can have it, so can we. That's the American fucking spirit.
But you understand, that method, it does essentially just say, okay, us good guys, we're just going to be fighting you bad guys, and it's going to be a gunfight, and everybody who's not armed is
No,
caught
it's
in the
like the nuclear retaliation thing. Like why
mutual
doesn't-
destruction.
Mutual destruction. You know that I will fuck you up if you try to do anything.
I will fuck you until
And
you die.
You will fuck me up if I try to do anything to you. So it leaves us like, okay, we could throw that off the table, and now we can move on as civilized people.
It's just in the back of our mind.
You know, like when you were growing up, you were like, man, I can beat that guy up, and like all your friends, and sometimes you guys would fight about it. You're like, no, I'd be able to beat your ass. Like, fuck you. No, I know that if Nick was here, he'd be like, I'd be able to beat both you guys' asses because he works out and everything. But he doesn't know me, man. I get squirrely. I'd be like, you know, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. Fuck you, Nick. You want some of this? I'm just kidding, buddy. He's gonna be back in a couple weeks. He's still on tour with the Tej. We miss you, buddy.
Come back, Nick.
Either way, that's been another episode of Emergency Exit. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you guys like our content, please be sure to at least, you know, hit us up on Instagram or on Facebook or wherever we're at. Where else are we at there?
We're everywhere.
Twitters and all that
Twitter,
good stuff.
Instagram, Facebook.
So where can you find us on Twitter? I'll give you guys all the good Twitter info here. You've got the show on Twitter, which is at EMEXPod. You've got me. Follow me on Twitter at That's Right Los. Follow Brandon at Fly In Zombie. That's Fly, just an N, and
letter
Zombie.
N.
That's right. Man, I suppose you're going to conduct a experiment with some baking powder and vinegar, huh?
I might. Or I might just go home and cook up some crack.
Cook up some crack. Why not?
Well, I got the baking soda.
All right. Well, like I said, you guys, it's the end of our show. If you guys want a koozie, give us a holler. We'll send you out one. We have a phone number coming in, so we're gonna end the show and we're gonna keep recording. I guess we can answer it, get it on the line.
Oh, if that was somebody calling, call right back. I just missed it.
I didn't get it on my phone.
Well, maybe it was somebody just calling me then.
Well, you guys are getting all the behind the stage stuff. Either way, thank you once again. We talked about some crazy shit with Captain Bob and Smillian. So, for Brandon the Hard Hat Mitchell, I'm your boy Lo saying, that's right.